Hello, Stitchy friends. How's everyone doing? Today is Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. My name is Andrew. My dog Winston is on my lap, although I don't know if he'll pop his head up at all, not during this video. He seems pretty sleepy this morning. You have stumbled upon The Runner Stitcher. This is my channel where I talk primarily about my cross-stitch journey, also a little bit about running, and lately about walking as well. So welcome to the channel. This is Flosstube episode number 80. We have now reached 80 Flosstube episodes, and that is just wild to me. Never thought I would get this far. So thank you so much for sticking around. I'm so glad you're here. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you enjoy what you see. I hope you are enjoying the projects I'm working on. I hope you're joining in with the Whip into Shape challenge, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And yeah, we're just happy to have you here. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back and checking out what I've been up to. It means so much to have this community with you, and I really appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me this week. To start off, I just want to say a quick thank you to Glenda, who took advantage of the Buy Me a Coffee link listed below. Thank you so much. That was very, very kind, and I really appreciate that gesture. So thank you, Glenda, very much. I did want to touch base briefly about running as well this week, and I've still been running. I am sort of training for a half marathon, even though I don't have a half marathon scheduled for this training period. But this morning, I ran 7 miles, and I had to get up early because we had some things going on here at the house in the morning, and I was so blessed to see a gorgeous sunrise this morning. So I'll put a picture up here of what that looked like, but just another reminder of the beauty that's all around us, even when we're enjoying a run. It was just really lovely. The weather's been so nice here in Florida the last week. We're sort of out of that cold spell, and the mornings are still chillier in the upper 40s or lower 50s, which is great for running, but then the days warm up to the 60s or 70s, and it's just been really lovely. This is the time of year that I absolutely enjoy here in Florida, and I'm so grateful to be down here right now for this period of time. I did want to say that with my running training schedule, I am signed up for a half marathon. The next one I'll be running will be in May. I think it's the middle of May. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue this training cycle that I'm in, which will end, I think, mid-March is when this training cycle ends. I'm just going to tack on and add on a few more weeks of that to train for the half marathon in May. So that will be super exciting to have my first race of the year in May. It's one of my favorite half marathons in the city. It'll be the Brooklyn Half Marathon. So I will be back in New York City by that point, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So that's kind of what my training is kind of leading up to, although it's much less training than when I'm training for a marathon. So yeah, still been running, still been getting out there and enjoying that. I also just wanted to call out real quick, you may see the Bee Queen up here on the wall behind me. And my mom and I decided we would hang it there while I'm here in Florida, and I'm filming my videos here at this table so that you all can enjoy it in the background of my videos. She was really, really excited and happy to receive that as a gift. And yeah, she's already got a space planned out for it after I'm gone. I don't think she's going to leave it here, but she's got a nice space planned out for it, and it'll be right there where everybody can see it. So that is the Bee Queen. Again, if you missed the close-up finish, you can go check out last week's video where I showed the fully finish close and held it up and everything. But thank you so much for all of the comments. We were really thrilled with the frame, and I'm glad you all enjoyed it as well. So I've got a lot to share with you today, so let's just kind of jump into it and start things out. The first thing I've got for you is the Whip into Shape challenge. Now, if you are new here, Whip into Shape is a challenge that I created about a year ago, and I'm bringing it back this time for a different version, but the same sort of challenge where you can stitch along different ways to stitch along. You can stitch along with time, or with the amount of miles I run, or with the number of steps I take. All of it's broken down into the spreadsheet, which is linked below. Feel free to join. You're not behind. You can still catch up, and this time it's the walking edition. So there are walking videos as well for you to watch and enjoy as you stitch, and I hope you have been enjoying that challenge. It's been really fun for me. So we've now got 3 walks completed. 3 walks are up on my new YouTube channel called Andrew in Stride. And I just want to say again, thank you so much for all of you who have gone over there and subscribed and watched the videos and commented. It's really meant a lot to me, and we've now crossed the 500 subscriber mark, which is just mind-blowing to me. I think that's awesome, and I'm going to keep sharing the walks. So like I said, we've got 3 walks completed so far. For me, I'm following the stitches that I need to do per mile. and that equates to, for those 3 walks, it equates to 513 stitches for those 3 walks. The pattern I chose for Whip Into Shape is my sampler piece, and this is Elizabeth Masterton, a Scottish sampler, 1838. Here's what this is going to look like, and I'm super excited that this piece will be getting some love in. It's been a lot of fun to work on. I'll also put a picture up here of where I was when I started the challenge, and I'm happy to say that this past week I was able to add in 589 stitches, so I've completed the first 3 walks, which was great. So let's see where I'm at now. And here we are. So this is my progress on Elizabeth Masterton. This is stitched on a 40 count Fox and Rabbits. The fabric is called Paper Bark, I believe, and I'm using all the called for Aversois silks and stitching 1 strand over 2 linen threads. So let's zoom in here a little bit and just show what I was able to complete. Basically, I worked on this flower here, which just turned out beautiful. I love those yellows and the browns together. I just think it's so wonderful. So I did that. You'll see here that this is not connected to the bottom of the vase. The reason for that is because I am missing that one Aversois color. When I ordered these flosses, I ordered them on 123 Stitch, and I just added them all to my cart and purchased them. I didn't realize one of them was out of stock, and so I'm missing one. I went to my local LNS here in Florida, to the Inspired Needle, to see if she had that floss, and she's gonna try to order it for me, so hopefully I'll be able to get it and fill in that section, but hopefully I don't run into that color too many times here in the next little bit. Otherwise, I'll just have to place an order individually for that thread, but that's why that sort of has a gap there. And then I came down and worked on this gorgeous flower. Now look at how beautiful those colors are. The yellows and the greens, that sort of terracotta color is just beautiful. So yeah, that was 589 stitches, and I was super happy to put that in. Really glad to pull this back out, and just reminded me how much I love it and how much I want to see the progress keep continuing. So I'm going to keep walking. But that is my Elizabeth Masterton piece. Now for Whip Into Shape this week, and if you want some more details on this challenge, you can go back about 2 videos, I think, is where I explained the whole challenge and kind of broke it down. I think the video is titled Whip Into Shape Starts Now. And you can get the full details over there if you're interested in joining. We'd love to have you come along for the ride and use the hashtag Whip Into Shape and share your progress on Instagram. I love to see what projects you're working on and how much you've got completed. But for this upcoming week, I've got at least 2 walks for you, maybe even a third, depending if I can get it ready to be posted. But at least 2 walks will go up this week, so we'll have maybe a little bit of a busier week with the challenge. And I hope you'll enjoy the walks. One of them is through a beach town called New Smyrna Beach, and we'll walk the main street, see all the restaurants and the people walking around. It's great for people watching. That one ends a little bit on the beach. And then the second one is one of my favorite walks or bike rides that we do here at my parents' place along what's called Waterfront Park. And there's this beautiful path along the river and just really fun views, really peaceful. And I think it'll be fun to share with you. So those are the 2 videos I've got coming up, maybe even a third, so stay tuned. I likely will post the next one probably tomorrow on Wednesday on the channel Andrew in Stride, which is where I'm posting all of these walking videos. Again, links will be down below in the spreadsheet. But the goal for these videos is for them just to provide something calming and soothing and comforting to have on in the background as you're stitching, and just to kind of see different areas of the country. You know, maybe you have never been to Florida before, you've never seen this part of the country, and you know the beaches here, but you don't necessarily know the nature part of it. Just kind of to get you to see something different. And it's been really fun for me to share these with you. So thank you so much again for joining in. I'm excited to get more stitches in my project, and I hope you are too. But it'll really start ramping up now. So if you want to join, now's the time before we get too many walks in, but you can still catch up. The other thing I wanted to share with you this week is something I've been stitching on for my Patreon members. And with my Patreon membership, I do a quarterly giveaway of a pair of stitched dice stitched by me to a random winner for that quarter. And the first quarter, we drew the winner on January 1st. The winner was Michelle, and she was super excited. And she gets to choose what color she wanted the floss to be for the dice. So she chose a beautiful 3801 DMC that's just this lovely blue color. And so I've been stitching on these dice and I have them to share with you today. So here are these dice. This is what I've been stitching on. And I did get her permission to share these with you all, but yeah, this is what I stitched on and then stitched them together. And so these are going to the first winner of the first pair of dice on the Patreon channel. Michelle, congratulations. These will be getting in the mail to you probably next week. And yeah, I had a lot of fun stitching these. I hope you enjoy them. And I'm really happy with how they turned out. I think the blues look absolutely beautiful. So the next time we'll draw a winner will be April 1st for the next quarterly winner. And yeah, we'll see what color they pick for their dice as well. But it's been just a fun way for me to sort of give back to one of my Patreon members a piece of something that I've actually stitched. And so the dice I've been working on this week. All right, now let's get into the actual whips, the actual works in progress that I worked on this week. And I'm happy to say I have a finish this week, which is super exciting. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while, or if you've been watching it the last several weeks, you know I've been dragging out a certain finish, and so you probably expected that that's the finish that would be coming today. Well, I actually have a different finish. So I am happy to share with you, and I will put a picture up here of where it was. Well, I'm just going to show you the finish first. Here is my finish of Garden Surprise. How cute is this piece? I'm so happy to have this completed. It felt so springy and so lovely to be stitching on. This is the section I worked on here. I will try to put a picture side by side here of where I was last week, and then you'll get to see how much I have completed. But I think I added about, let's see, I added about 737 stitches. That does not include back stitching. So if you'll notice from the last video, I didn't have any of these flowers backstitched. These were not done. The leaves were not backstitched. This mouse was not even stitched. So all of this backstitching was done. And I also did not, on the big mouse, I did not have her whiskers done. I was saving those towards the end. So that was a lot of backstitching. Backstitching probably took me at least a night and a half to get completed. And yeah, it was a lot, but really brings the piece to life. I think it is just super, super cute, and I'm really happy to have it done. This is stitched on an 18 count Aida from my fabric, or from my fabric stash, and I think it's like a mint green color. I can't remember the exact color name that it was, but I used the rest of the kit materials. This is a pattern called Garden Surprise from Designs for the Needle, and used all the kit materials except for the fabric, so switched that out. But this is the finished piece. I'll do a quick little zoom here for you guys so you can see. The other thing I wanted to call out are these bows that are on the mice. So this one is the purple bow right here on this one, and then down here we've got this orange bow on the tail. I have never done anything like that on my stitching. It was really cool. I had to use 3 strands of floss, and you sort of brought it up from the back and then just tied it like a bow. Now that sounds easy, but when you're working in these tiny little spaces with short strands for the bow, it can be kind of difficult. And my bows are not perfect, you know. I was learning how to use my big fingers to tie those tiny little knots in those bows, but I think it turned out really well, and I'm super happy with that. But just wanted to call out that little challenge that was added to the piece. So this piece I started on March 26th, 2025, and I finished it on February 15th, 2026. So just less than a year, about a month shy of a year. And yeah, really happy to have this completed. I don't know what I will do with this piece. I thought maybe a pillow would be good. This is a softer Aida, so I thought a pillow could be nice for this piece. We'll see, but I'm just super, super happy to have this completed. Again, this is Garden Surprise Designs for the Needle. I also added my initials and the year down here at the bottom to complete it, and yeah, I can hardly believe it's done. But I hope you enjoyed that. That is my finish for the week. I did also want to say I am happy to give away the pattern to this Designs for the Needle piece for Garden Surprise. Now I will say the pattern itself, it is a paper pattern, as you can see here, and it does not actually list DMC numbers. So it just has colors like light brown, dark green, very dark green, that sort of thing. So it may not be the easiest to just pick up this pattern and stitch from it, but if you are interested in this pattern, I would be happy to send it to you. Just use the word mouse, M-O-U-S-E. I will send this anywhere in the world. Again, it's just going to be this cover page and the paper pattern, so nothing else from the kit because I used all the materials. But yeah, if you're interested in this pattern, I'm happy to send it along. And if you're not, that's fine too. It will be probably a difficult one to kit up and to stitch from, but I really enjoyed stitching this, and if any of you are interested in as well, I'd love to pass it along. Okay, now I know what you were all thinking. Okay, that was your finish, but what about the pancakes? I forgot to even mention at the start of this video that today is National Pancake Day. So I hope you're all celebrating. We have our breakfast for dinner planned out for tonight. My dad is making pancakes. We're gonna have sausage and eggs. It's gonna be delicious. So I'm super excited. I hope you're joining in for pancakes at some point today as well. And I know you're all curious, what about the pancakes piece? So let's go into that one next. This is Stack of Pancakes from SammyStitchesStore on Etsy. And I'm not gonna show you the cover photo because this is, well, it's almost done. You'll see I have one dangling thread here, but this is the pancakes piece. I was able to add, and it's funny, I thought I had about 200 stitches left on this and only one day called for temperature stitching. Turns out some of those stitches were these black spots in here, which I'm not gonna be stitching since I did this on a black Aida. I'm just gonna let the Aida sort of shine through in those spots. And that knocked off about 100 stitches. So I added exactly 106 stitches to this piece to get it completed. But actually, you'll see I have this last strand here, and that's because I still have 2 stitches left. The reason I still have 2 stitches left is I decided I thought it'd be fun if I actually just stitch those here with you right now. So that's what I'm gonna do. I figured I was dragging this out long enough, and you had to watch for weeks and weeks as I only did 100 stitches here and 100 stitches there. So I figured, why not just drag it out a little bit longer, and I'll just stitch these final 2 stitches as they're with me here on this Flosstube. So I'm gonna put those in, and you will get to be with me at the moment I finish this pancakes piece. All right, there's those 2 stitches. I'm gonna tie off the thread in the back. Of course, it's harder to do when you all are watching me. All right. And of course, my scissors is in the other room, so I will have to cut that thread when we get to, or after I finish this video, but it's now done. So we now are completed with this pancakes piece. Let me hold this back so you can kind of see a little bit better. But I finished it. So I finished this diagonal over here. This was the last little bit. And then I also stitched this little blob right there. It's done, y'all. It's done. I can't wait to have this framed on my wall. I think I'm gonna find a black frame, and I probably will find sort of like a black mat board to put behind it because I don't want any of the light to sort of shine through. I want the pancakes piece just to shine the way it is. That's my goal. I definitely want to frame this one, and I'll have to do some measuring and see like where I can find the frame, all that sort of thing, but that's my goal for this piece. So this is the last time you'll see it until it is fully finished and framed. But again, this is Stack of Pancakes from SammyStitchesStore. This is stitched on a 20 count Aida, and I'm using 2 strands of all the called for DMC floss, 2 strands over 1. So it's a very thick piece. I just love how realistic it looks. I love the syrup dripping from those pancakes. And I think there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 or 7 pancakes in this stack. I don't know if I'm gonna have that many for dinner tonight, but that is the dream, right? The dream is to have a 6 stack pancakes. Yeah, anyway, I am just so thrilled. So thank you all for bearing with me. I know I dragged this out way too long and stitched little by little following my temperature stitching, but it worked for me. It pushed me to a finish on this piece, and I didn't get burned out. And that's the most important thing, because this is a very challenging piece with lots and lots of confetti. If you're interested in stitching it, I definitely say do it, but just be prepared that you will be stitching lots and lots of colors and color changes. But it turned out really beautiful. So that is my second finish, 2 finishes for today. This piece, I believe I started back in, actually, I don't know. Let me see. So this piece I actually started back in May 21st of 2024. I didn't actually realize it had been that long. It was coming up on 2 years for this piece. It's only about 10,000 stitches, but because of all the color changes and yeah, I just needed to do it in little chunks, and that's why it took almost 1.5 years, almost 2 years, but it's now completed. So thank you all for the support. Here is a stack of pancakes one last time until it's fully framed. It's done. All right, now I promise that's all the finishes I've got for you. So if you're looking for more, you're not gonna see them today, but 2 finishes is great. It feels really good to be down here in Florida and just to be focusing on a smaller number of projects, because now I'm getting them completed, which it just feels really, really good. So the next piece I want to share with you is a new start, and this is Under the Oaks from Merejka. It's this beautiful piece with these deer. I can't wait to get further into this piece. And I'm not going to talk too much about this one because I did post a dedicated video just to this piece on Saturday. So if you are interested in checking that out, it'll be the last video that's on here, called Starting a Merejka Kit with Me. And I kind of go through the whole process of getting the fabric ready, getting the floss ready, using their app, all of that. And then the stitching that I did. So on this piece, I was able to add in 323 stitches, and that includes some half stitches, some full stitches. I started it on Friday, February 13th, and I'm now at 0.5% of the piece. And here is where I'm at. So I just have this tiny little corner so far. That's the 323 stitches. And yeah, it's been really good. I absolutely love using the app. I shared that in the video as well. And I'm also excited. I'm starting in the upper right-hand corner, and it feels different. It feels kind of weird, but it's also fun. It just switches up the process and stitching something different. So that is Under the Oaks. And this is my temperature stitching piece, the category New Start. So this will keep coming out for temperature stitching over the next several months, and we'll get to see how far I get. All right, the next piece I worked on was Saga. This is from Long Dog Samplers. Here is what this huge piece is going to look like. I'm super excited to share with you the progress today. I will pop in a video of where I was when I started the week. Here is my starting point for Saga for this week. Likely I'm going to work at the bottom section right here to bring it across just to make sure everything is even and correct. And then I will get to start getting into the fun part of the arch. So you'll see how far I get now. And this week I was able to add in 596 stitches, putting me at 57.02%. So here is, can I get the whole piece in? Here is the whole piece of Saga. And now let's zoom in a little bit and show you what I completed this week. So the first thing you'll notice is I did connect the bottom of the arches. So just to make sure that everything lined up, I wanted to connect those, get those completed. So I did that. Then I was just too tempted. I added this cute little squirrel right here coming down the side of the arch over there. I also jumped over here into the other arch because it was Valentine's Day and I wanted to add a heart. You know, I realized this time I didn't have any Valentine stitching that I was working on. Typically I pull out the Kiss from Mirabilia around this time. That's back in New York. And so I had no Valentine stitching. And when I got to this section of the arch, I saw it on the other page and I was like, you know what? I am just going to stitch this tiny little heart and that will be my Valentine stitching. I feel like so many times Saga has come through with things like that where it just gives me what I need in that moment, and this moment was the heart. So I added that in, and then I just worked on some of these, like the bottom motifs here. So that I added a little bit of stitching in there, some of the back stitching that goes along there as well. And then I came over here and started on this motif right here. So you probably can't tell what that motif is yet, but as I continue stitching it, obviously you will see it. So that was 600 stitches, believe it or not. And I barely even got into the arch. So it's gonna be at least another week or two, probably another 2 or 3 weeks before I get the story. But yeah, this coming week, I will just start working on filling in the motifs in the arch. which is very fun. This is stitched on a 36 count Vintage Country Mocha linen, and I'm using Silks For You PR207, 1 strand of the silk over 2 linen threads. And yeah, just really, really happy with how this is coming along. Happy to be at 57%. We are coming up here at the end of February, and that would be the halfway point of the challenge to get it completed in 4 years. And since I'm at 57%, I'm well on my way. And I'm gonna keep stitching on it at that cadence, just in case anything happens and I don't have the time. So that is Saga. The next piece I've got for you is Fruits of Plenty. This is from Modern Folk Embroidery. Here's what this piece is going to look like. Absolutely beautiful. I love that one. I will pop a video in here of where I was when I started the week. Okay, here is my starting point for Fruits of Plenty. I'm definitely going to be working in this section. That's where I'm going to start. But I might also put a strand or two in this green. So you will see how far I get this week. Now this was one of my temperature stitching pieces for the week, and I think it was called for only 3 days, 300 stitches. But I actually pulled this out a little extra. I was able to add in 1,021 stitches, putting me at 84.36%. Now 84.36% feels really close on this piece, and what I'm learning is the stitches go really fast on this. I can get a lot of stitches in an evening because I'm not switching colors. It's very therapeutic to stitch. The flow is good, and so I can get a lot done. So this was 1,000 stitches for this week, which puts me, I think I'm now under 7,000 stitches left to go on this piece. So what did I do? The first thing I did was I completed the border of this motif. So everything lined up here at the bottom. I connected all of that in. I added a few more of these confetti dots all over this section, which I told you were not my favorite. But I do think it looks good. I think the finished block looks really, really good with those stitches kind of scattered throughout, but just not my favorite to stitch. I also added a little bit more in these motifs here in this center block, so that was exciting. I also finished this complete green section, the light green section here, brought it all the way down to the border there, so that is done. And I think that was the 1,000 stitches. I don't think I worked over here at all this week. I think it was mostly in this section. And the fun thing about stitching on this was I was working on this last night as we were watching the figure skating pairs competition. And wow, they are just so beautiful to watch their routines in the Olympics. I so enjoyed the Japanese team. There was some flawless skating last night, and that was just really fun to see. But stitching on this piece, now I have those memories with my mom watching figure skating, and that means a lot to me, and that will be baked into this piece. There's a lot of memories of this piece from being down here in Florida, and I just really appreciate that about it. So this is stitched on a 32 count smoky white linen, and I'm using 2 DMC colors, 320 and 890, 2 strands over 2 linen threads, and that's Fruits of Plenty. So, hope you enjoyed seeing the update here. And the final whip I've got for you this week is Woodland Enchantress. This is a kit from Dimensions. Here is what she is going to look like. She's so much fun. I think I forgot to take a video of where I was when I started this week, so I apologize. If I don't have a video, maybe I'll try to find a picture, but I pulled this out because each month my Patreon members have a chance to allocate some stitches to one of my projects. And they had, for the month of February, they had allocated stitches to both Elizabeth Masterton and Woodland Enchantress. So I had completed the Elizabeth Masterton. I still needed to do about 120 stitches on Woodland Enchantress. I'm happy to say that I was able to add in 283 stitches, putting me at about 41% on this piece. So here is what she looks like now. And the section I worked on was I brought her hair down through here. So I added some of this brown stitching right in here. I also brought the staff down a lot further. So that is there as well. And then I stitched on some of these motifs right in through here in her dress. Some of these are half stitches. This is a blended thread, but that is what really makes that color sort of come through in her dress there. And that was all the stitching. That was 300 stitches just in that section of hair and her dress here. But super happy with her. and really glad to at least put some more progress in her. So for my Patreon members, this is the update. She stitched on all the kit materials. So this is the kit fabric. I'm using all the kit floss. Sorry for all the parked threads. I don't know if they bother you or not, but they're there for me for next time. So yeah, all the kit materials, and that's Woodland Enchantress. All right, now let's jump into plans. So I don't have a lot of plans because most of my February goals have now been completed, which feels really good. So the one thing I will continue with is temperature stitching. I'll put a picture of what the new chart looks like up here. And we have 2 days were called for Under the Oaks, 3 days were called for Woodland Enchantress, and 2 days were called for Fruits of Plenty in the Witch Whip category. Those 2 days, once I complete that, that will complete the category, which means it's time to pick a new Witch Whip. How this works is I have a wheel here that lists all of the whips that I have currently down here in Florida. Obviously, those are the only ones I can stitch on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin this wheel twice and let you choose which of those 2 whips you'd like to vote for. And that whip will go into the new temperature stitching category for the goal of 1,000 stitches. So you'll get to see some progress on a whip that you want to see. So let's go ahead and spin this first project here now and see what we get. Okay, the first one is, oh, Mr. and Mrs. Claus again. Okay, so that was one of the choices from the last whip, and now it's back again. So if you really wanted that one, now's your chance again, you can vote for it. Let's see what the second choice is. And the second choice is Treasury of Compassion. That is my Teresa Kogut piece. That's great, because neither of them are in any of the other categories, and so you have 2 choices. You can say Claus, C-L-A-U-S, for Mr. and Mrs. Claus, or you can say Compassion for the Teresa Kogut piece. I decided I should just show those pieces to you now. So the first option is this kit from Olanta. It's called Mr. and Mrs. Claus. Here's what that is going to look like. It's a lot of fun to stitch on. And let me show you where I'm at in this piece. So here is my progress. So far, I've got the tree completed. Last time I was working on this top section of the fireplace. Likely if this gets called, I will continue the fireplace down and connecting that to the tree. That's probably what I will work on, continue there. So that's the first option. And the next choice is Treasury of Compassion. This is from Teresa Kogut. And it's this beautiful, beautiful piece with this wonderful prayer in the center. And I am making good progress on this piece. Here's where I'm at currently. So I'm probably over about 50%, maybe a little over 50% on this piece. And that's my progress so far. So if you want to see one of these pieces come out, again, vote Compassion for Treasury of Compassion or Claus, C-L-A-U-S, for Mr. and Mrs. Claus. And the only other plan I've got is Saga. I will continue working on my weekly goal for Saga for this week. And then once those goals are done, I will just get to stitch on whatever I want, whatever's calling my name. This week that was Garden Surprise and it got me to a finish. Next week, we'll see what that is. I can't tell you at this moment, but I'm super happy. I know Fruits of Plenty will be calling my name more and more as I get closer to that finish. That will be a big finish for me and definitely my biggest piece to date that I would have finished. So out of all the pieces I've got here in Florida, that is probably the one that's closest to a finish next. If I could finish that while I'm down here and have 4 finishes in Florida based on the projects I brought, I would be so thrilled with that. So we'll just have to see. I am also starting to be called back to full coverage pieces. My Amy Stewart Supersize Max Colors Circus piece is back at home in New York. And I don't know, I've just been feeling an itch to stitch full coverage lately. And I don't have any of those pieces down here. So we'll see. I can't add that into my plans yet. But when I get back to New York, it might be a focus for a little while to scratch that itch of full coverage. But we'll see. We'll play it by ear. And the rest of the pieces I will just enjoy stitching on. And that's how it goes. And I think that's all I've got for you today. So I just want to say I hope you're having a wonderful week. If you're having pancakes with me tonight, enjoy it. Enjoy that moment. And I hope you're watching the Olympics if you can. They are really fun to watch. I'm always impressed by whatever sport I'm watching, the athleticism that goes into those events and into those sports. It's just, there's so much talent out there and it's really fun to watch. like I said, I especially enjoyed the figure skating last night, but I hope you're enjoying those as well. And yeah, whip into shape. Let's keep going. I'll keep posting the walks this week, so stay tuned for that, and we'll get more stitches in our projects, and I'll keep walking and sharing parts of Florida. And then once I get back to New York, I'll be able to share parts of the city with you as well. So I think that's it. So keep running if you're a runner, always keep stitching, and be kind to whoever you meet on your journey. Bye for now, until the next stitch. And whichever vote gets, or whichever, blah, 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 blah. But when I get back to New York, it might be